The idea is to create a situation where the people are so frightened of the violence all around them that they will throw their hands up in the air and demand, "Federal government, do something." And the only choice open will be martial law. But unless they are stopped, they will scare the American people into accepting socialism from Washington and statist rule by the insiders of the establishment. This is what it is really all about.
And there is another problem with believing in a gravity collapse: the floors. Each tower had 107 floors. Corrugated steel pans, an acre in size, were held up by steel trusses filled with steel reinforced concrete. Everyone agrees that a gravity collapse does not have nearly enough energy to pulverize steel floor pans. Supposedly 107 floor assemblies fell down right here. Where are they? Imagining that a skyscraper or any object can crush itself into dust under its own weight is cartoon physics. The official story has to be that the floors all landed in the footprint of the building, because if too much of the mass goes outside the footprint, there's not enough left to push down, and any sort of collapse would just stop.
Roughly, let's say 20% of mass shedding could be tolerated.
This is Brent Blanchard, a demolition expert and senior editor of Implosion World. Blanchard supports the official story and wrote a paper attempting to debunk 9/11 demolition theories. But he admits that there was basically nothing left in the footprint. Most of the mass was somehow converted into very fine dust and spread all over lower Manhattan. Oops, I guess Mr. Blanchard didn't get the memo. A few steel sections remained intact. This 100-ton section was thrown over 300 feet to the west, where it landed in the Winter Garden. Tiny human bone fragments were found on the roof of this building years later.
Stephanopoulos is down in lower Manhattan today. George, I don't know if you heard a little earlier me raise this question, which was actually raised by ABC's Jackie Judd, as we look at these areas down below and the video of where the towers used to stand and where is all the rubble gone. And have you been able to, is there any way you can answer that question?
I'm sorry, Peter, I didn't get the question.
Okay, I apologize. Jackie Judd and several other people keep asking us, when you look at where the towers used to stand, there is surprisingly so little rubble. Where did all the rubble go?
It's a very good question, Peter, and I have asked some people who've been doing some of the rescue and recovery work this morning. If you look behind me, you can see the very remains, the skeletal remains of the World Trade Center. And one volunteer, Robert Gerlinski, explained to me the reason there's so little rubble is that all of it simply fell down into the ground and was pulverized, evaporated.
It is hard to conceive, but 3 days ago, both World Trade Towers rose 1,362 feet into the sky. Visit those same towers today. At their tallest point, they rise maybe 100 feet above the street. And while it's true there are 6 floors below street level, now filled with debris, engineers at the firm that built the building's best guess to account for the missing 1,200 feet of material from each tower is that large portions simply vaporized into the dust that rained down on New Yorkers immediately after the collapse. It was that powerful.
Get out of here!
We're talking here about 43,600 windows, 600,000 square feet of glass, 200,000 tons of structural steel, 5 million square feet of gypsum, 6 acres of marble, and 425,000 cubic yards of concrete, turned in good part into a cloud, says environmental medical doctor Stephen Levin.
I was astonished at the degree to which solid materials were turned into pulverized dust as a consequence of that building collapse. I think it was striking.
The Environmental Protection Agency has been sampling the dust, and one specialist told ABC they believe the clouds that appeared immediately after the collapse were mostly gypsum dust from drywall, cement dust, and plaster, which can cause problems.
Cement dust is an irritant. Fine glass powder is also an irritating material.
The EPA did find spotty levels of asbestos. A sample on a police car turned out dangerous. Another sample a couple of blocks away, not dangerous. But most interesting, in the mix, they are looking, they think, at specks of steel that used to be beams and elevators, marble from the lobby floor and facings. So what were once the strongest architectural elements in the two towers were pulverized, large portions turned into clouds like this one. Still, there is this mystery. If some of the hardest materials were vaporized, how to account for the presence everywhere of paper? Fully intact letters, business forms, stationery. Paper is so fragile and combustible, and yet somehow it was everywhere. Robert Krulwich, ABC News, New York.
More and more young radicals are beginning to wake up to the fact that their entire lives have been carefully programmed by the very people who are their hate symbols. They're beginning to realize that their so-called anti-establishment outlook actually is the calculated product of the establishment press, the establishment communications media, the establishment entertainment industry, the establishment schools. And so we return again to the basic question, why? Why does the establishment publicly condemn but privately support the anti-establishment movement?
You can't keep me down, you can't keep me down. You can't keep me down, you can't keep me down. You can't keep me down, you can't keep me down. You can't keep me down, you can't keep me down. You can't keep me down, you can't keep me down. Down, down, down.
See, you ain't rockin', for instance, you poppin', but you robbin' hip-hop or traditions. You ain't rappers, you more like crooked politicians. Part of whose creation, new nation, trying to fuck us with no lubrication. Raping, never losing to Lucifer, Satan, calling me Cain in the caveman in the cave. Came close but never caved in. The false image of a prophet you praising. You living in a nation, living in intimidation due to primitive media manipulation, terror tactics and intimidation. We lack innovation, looking for more fame. They control your brain. The gullible puppets of the public get played like a board game. Get your jaw reconstructed. I ain't no puppet, ain't throwing up no diamond. Here's the middle finger, go shove it. Fuck the media posing as experts. Fuck the radio, fuck the television networks. I'm not apologizing, I don't care what the cost is. Go ahead, corporations, you can take back your endorsements. Fuck the media posing as experts. Fuck the radio, fuck the television networks. You could murder me before I let you take control.
My mind is my own and I trust in my soul.
Telling you their lies and you believe in it. The mob-minded media mentality, speaking to the insecure sheep looking for leadership. Television producers looking for losers, looking for stupider viewers. The advertisers dumbing down the consumers. You lost your integrity, you sold your soul for fame and fortune. You defeated some, the rusty hanger in the back alley abortion. You ain't stopping the progression of my musical expression. Always got them guessing when I'm dropping a lesson. Let it rot in your intestine. And why so many folks is jealous that I was co-signed by Biggie. Internet nerds rewriting history, lying, saying he dissed me. I know in your small brains it might hurt, but I was there. The closest you ever got was wearing Biggie on your t-shirt. Whatever hype they supplying and advertising you buying, let me guide and enlighten. They lying, I ain't frightened of fighting. If you get offended by me and my honesty, tell my publicist she never find me making no public apology. Fuck the media posing as experts. Fuck the radio, fuck the television networks. I'm not apologizing, I don't care what the cost is. Go ahead, corporations, you can take back your endorsements. Fuck the media posing as experts. Fuck the radio, fuck the television networks. You could murder me before I let you take control.
My mind is my own and I trust in my soul.
Yo, from murdering children to dead soldiers to dead civilians, to the killings and the bombings of the buildings, to borrowing trillions. Who's to blame when the brain of the next insane psycho flips? Brain cells are programmed like they membrane microchips. I'm guns and Bible, I'm pro-life and pro-war, pro-fighting, profanity writing, reciting, gambling, tossing the dice and trifling, rioting, citing, no low-lighting, no hiding. You wanna see the true racists? Just take a look at Joe Biden. Fuck the media posing as experts. Fuck the radio, fuck the television networks. I'm not apologizing, I don't care what the cost is. Go ahead, corporations, you can take back your endorsements. Fuck the media posing as experts. Fuck the radio, fuck the television networks. You could murder me before I let you take control.
My mind is my own and I trust in my soul. You can't keep me down, you can't keep me down. You can't keep me down, you can't keep me down. You can't keep me down, you can't keep me down. My mind is my own and I trust in my soul. You can't keep me down, you can't keep me down, down. You can't keep me down, you can't keep me down, down. You can't keep me down, you can't keep me down. My mind is my own and I trust in my soul.
The towers didn't burn up, nor did they slam to the ground. They turned into dust in midair, 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 midair.
Let us never tolerate outrageous conspiracy theories concerning the attacks of September the 11th. Malicious lies that attempt to shift the blame away from the terrorists themselves, away from the guilty.